Hey everybody, it's Matt from the house, and you know, we got a lot of good products from all of our companies, but in this video, we're gonna show you a few of our favorites for the 2021 season from Jones Snowboards. Let's check these things out. All right, first up for our all mountain ride and even kind of a park ride, we're gonna check out the Mountain Twin. You know, everybody sees Jones and they think that it's, you know, more like free riding, powder, big mountain, getting into some gnarly stuff like Jeremy Jones gets into. But this is actually a super rad board for kind of riding the opposite, hitting the park and then still being able to ride outside of the park. It is a directional twin board, and basically it's fully twinned up, centered stance, but the kick is just a little more elongated on the nose instead of on the tail. But when you're riding this thing on flat snow, it feels exactly like a twin tip board. You ride a regular switch, doesn't feel any different no matter which way you're riding. So we do have the traction tech, which is basically right at your feet. The edge kind of comes out just a little bit. You've got that here on both edges, on both feet too. So instead of just having those two contact points digging in on those harder, icier conditions, you've got 4 contact points, give you that extra dig and that extra grab. They're doing a biax fiberglass on this thing, so it's got a little easier, softer feel, but not too soft that you can't go too fast on it. And then another feature that's pretty cool on a lot of the Jones boards too is up in the nose and the tail, we're doing this 3D contouring on the boards, which just helps scoop out the nose a little bit, give it a little easier feel, a little bit more catch-free feel too. And then also when you get in some deep snow, it just helps push the snow away from the nose of your board, and even in the park, buttering around on your nose too, you get a little easier catch-free feel. So despite everything you think about Jones, if you like to ride the park and you want something that does well outside the park, and especially in the powder, Mountain Twin is a great option. And if you like that super snappy, lively version, they do make an ultra version as well. All right, next up for free ride boards, we're gonna check out the Frontier. This board looks real good. So one of the reasons why I feature this board is price-wise, this is under $500. And you actually get a lot of board for under $500. If you like to go out, go fast, dig hard, you like to ride the entire mountain, but you really like to spend some time in the powder more than you do in the park, this board is a great option. It does have a directional shape, it does have a directional flex to it, a little stiffer tail, a little softer nose, just help keep the back of the board from mushing too much in deep snow and get the nose up. And then this one we're all doing the biaxial fiberglass, which again, you know, it's a nice easy feel, so it's something where if you just want to go out and cruise a little bit more, you know, this is a great option. If you want something a little more aggressive, you bump it up to the flagship or even the ultra flagship. Those are going to be their kind of hard charging free ride boards. We're doing the traction tech on this one like always, and then also we're doing that 3D contour nose to, you know, give you that extra little float and catch free feel. But great bang for the buck for that guy that just wants to go out and cruise the entire hill and, you know, float around a little bit when you get in the deep stuff. All right, next up for a little bit more on the freeride POW board kind of side of things, we're gonna check out the Hovercraft. This board is an iconic board in the Jones line. They've had it for a while now. Definitely for that guy that just wants to go out and search for powder, but again, if it's not a POW day, awesome for just going out and cruising as well. It's not something that's gonna limit you to riding powder and not be that, you know, good when you're riding on groomers and stuff. So we're doing the biax fiberglass in this one as well. You know, the one thing about the fiberglass is, you know, a lot of people think that biax fiberglass makes for a really soft board, and not necessarily. This board actually does have a good sturdy feel to it, but one of the other reasons to get that this thing has that extra sturdy feel is the veneer top sheet as well. So this wood top sheet does add a lot of spring and pop, and just makes that board look amazing too. We are doing the 3D contouring in the nose and the tail, because obviously if this thing with this big directional shape and that little tiny tail, that big nose, you want that extra float, and you're gonna get that extra float out of the 3D contouring too. So this is a board that you can spend all day in the POW just laughing all day long. It does have the traction tech on it. It is a little bit lighter than some of the other boards, just because this board is, you know, something that you're probably gonna be riding in the POW a little bit more, but it is still there for when you're hitting those groomers up and you want to get that little extra grab if you hit some of those icy hard spots. But yeah, definitely one of the best looking boards in the lineup, one of the most iconic boards in the lineup too. But yeah, if again you want something you can ride POW all day long and that's your main concern, but you want to be able to ride not on those deep days, great option. All right, next up, we're gonna check out some bindings. You know, a lot of people are like, wait, Jones bindings? Like, yes, Jones actually has some bindings. So the cool thing about the Jones bindings is basically they kind of took they partnered with Now Bindings, and their bindings are kind of like a version of the Now Bindings. And if you're not familiar with Now, what makes them really, really popular is they actually have what they call their skate tech. And basically what it is the base plate that mounts to the board is actually on this little pivot point on the binding itself, and then the bindings have these bushings on the side, so it's kind of like a kingpin and bushings in your skate truck, kind of based off of that idea. And what it is it can pivot just a little bit, and it's not like it pivots on your board, but what it is everything sits flush on your board, and depending on the bushings that you use, whether you use the stiffer ones or the softer ones that it comes with, this actually allows the binding to push a little bit more or a little bit less, and you can really customize how that board feels. You want a little bit softer feel, a little smoother feel, you put the softer bushings in, and then when you're flexing toe to heel, you're actually getting those bushings, you're gonna give a little bit before the binding lifts the board. Likewise, you want that quicker feel, you put the stiffer bushings in, but it allows the binding to roll a little bit from edge to edge, and it's something that's gonna be standard on both of the Jones bindings this year. So keeping in line with that, they're actually doing the skate tech, excuse me, the skate tech post on the bottom is what they call it. This is recycled carbon, so it's very, very lightweight. Also on this one, we're doing the flip it strap. So you notice the strap is asymmetrical on the outside, and you can actually flip the straps from left to right binding very, very easily. So you can actually have more supportive feel, or you can have a little bit surfier, softer feel, depending on whether you've got that wider part at the top or whether you swap it and put that wider part at the bottom. Also on this binding, it's pretty cool. They actually do, the way they mount the high back is it actually sits nice and flush with your heel loop. You don't have a heel loop inside a high back, outside. It just makes for a real, real good fit to your boot as well. But yeah, this one is the Mercury, which is gonna be kind of your, you know, if you're riding park, you're riding, you know, all mountain, you want that little easier, softer feel, that's gonna be the Mercury. All right, and the second binding, for those guys that want that little bit lighter weight, but more importantly, very, very snappy, quick, lively feel, that we're gonna look at the Apollo. So the Apollo is definitely a much stiffer binding, so it's gonna have that quicker feel. We're still doing the skate tech with the bushing system, and it does come with those extra bushings, so you can smooth it out a little bit if you want. But the extra features on this one is that not only is it lighter weight and stiffer, but we actually have the wide flip it strap. So this basically is gonna give you a little bit more support, but you still get that option to flip the wider part to the other strap and put that on the bottom side of your binding. Another thing that's pretty cool about this one is the flax and carbon high back. So not only is it incredibly lightweight, but it's very, very responsive high back. So it has a little bit of a shift to the outside, so you don't have to do a lot of adjusting with your high backs, but you basically get that support where you need it, you get that flex where you need it, and it also helps make the binding incredibly lightweight. So if you want that binding that gets from edge to edge right now, then definitely check out the Apollo. All right, thanks for checking out some of our favorites from Jones for the 2021 season. If you got any questions about these or any of the other Jones products, leave us some comments down below. We're on there every day trying to answer your questions, get you into the best gear for your riding style and purposes. Like, subscribe, get that bell on so you find out when we get all the new videos popping. And yeah, get out and do some riding, whether you're riding backcountry or whether you're riding park. Any day of riding is a good day of riding.